Hey everyone, I wanted to jump on here and just kind of tell y'all what God has been showing me over the last couple years. First off, I'm going to share this to my personal page, so some of you may know me and may know my story, but for those of you that don't, my name is Christina. I have been clean and sober from methamphetamines for 16 years come February. Over the years, I have done several different recovery type programs. From the time I was 16, I started with the secular programs, and then at 19 I went to prison, and God really just got a hold of my heart. Not that he found me there. He always knew where I was, but he had to get me where I could be still and just really have no distractions and listen for him. So whenever I was released from prison, I was lucky enough to find an amazing home church that was just a really soft place for me to land, make new friends, and eventually I was introduced to biblical-based recovery programs. And I loved that because it took recovery in a whole new light. And I went with that for years. I've had some really great programs that I've gotten to be a part of. I've had great mentors, and I've had great just people encouraging me and supporting me over the years. About 2 years ago, I was shown kind of what God wanted for my walk and what my calling was. It had always been recovery ministry, but he really gave me a vision for something different. So I am at a later date going to go through and do a full video testimony so that y'all really get to hear me and my story and kind of everything that I've gone through from then to now and how God has worked in my life over the years, things that I've struggled with, and then things where he set me free from. So that is all to come. Just stay tuned. So right now I just really kind of wanted to tell everybody of this vision for a new recovery ministry that God has placed on my heart. A couple years ago, he showed me something for a completely online recovery ministry. So with everything that's gone on over 2020 and 2021, we're seeing that most of the recovery programs are switching to a completely online platform just because a lot of times we can't meet in person. But God was showing me there are a lot of smaller churches and smaller communities that just don't have the ability to have a full online or a full in-person recovery ministry at their churches. So that was something that he put on my heart a couple years ago, and it's something that he's been kind of building on over the years with me. And as I started taking steps towards the ministry within the last year and a half, God has really, especially the last few months, placed on my heart that he wants it to be different. He doesn't want just your typical everyday run-of-the-mill recovery program. And so I wanted to kind of jump on here and tell y'all about Breaking the Chains ministry and how it is going to be different than the recovery ministries that have come before it. So God keeps bringing me back to Galatians 5:1. It says, "So Christ has truly set us free. Now make sure that you stay free and don't get tied up again in the slavery of the law." So here Paul's talking about Jesus sets us free. When we give our life over to Jesus, he sets us free. And a lot of times we will get so caught up in the rules or the religious things that are set before us that sometimes we wind up right back in bondage. Maybe not the same bondage that we were in before, but still bondage. And so God has been showing me that he wants a program that is really, no, he doesn't want a program. That's the whole point. God is showing me that he wants a recovery ministry that really gets to the in-depth relationship with him, not certain steps that we go through or certain aspects that we have to pull out here and pull out there in some specific order. Each of us are different. And recovery is not only for people that struggle with chemical dependency. Luckily, that's something that has kind of changed in the last few years, is our view on that. Previously, if you said anything to do with recovery, people automatically thought drugs and alcohol. And now we relate it to all kinds of issues. Healing from abuse, healing from broken relationships, healing from hurts, addictions to everything under the sun, not just drugs and alcohol, but shopping, gambling, anything that overtakes your life and draws your attention away from God where it's supposed to be. That is what this recovery ministry is going to be focusing on, is really pointing our eyes back to Jesus and allowing him to show us what he wants us to change in us in order for us to be the people that he has called us to be. So that is one thing that Galatians 5:1 is showing me. Although Paul's talking about back in that day becoming a Christian but still holding on to those old religious laws, God is showing me something different in this, and it's specifically to do with the way that the recovery programs work. And we get so focused on, oh, well, I have to do this first and this second and this third. And God is showing me everyone is different. He has a different path for each one of us. We're all going to learn different. We're all going to heal in different ways and in different stages. So us just turning our attention back to him and really focusing on that relationship with us. Another thing that I have come to realize in the past couple months is a lot of times God will set us free from certain things, and then we find ourselves later on down the road picking up that same thing again, or maybe not the exact same thing, but something similar. And then we get to the end of it, and we're looking around going, how did this happen? I've already done the healing. I've already worked through these issues. And God's showing me it's not necessarily that we didn't work through them the first time. It's that we missed something. We missed something important that God really needed for us to see within that hurt or that struggle or that habit. And we missed it. And it's something that we need to be able to see in order for the calling that he's placed on our lives in the future. So a lot of times he'll allow us to go back to similar situations that we were in before, and only so that we can continue to learn what it was that we missed before, if that makes any sense. I found this personally in my own life the last few months, and then I've also heard from several of my friends just saying, hey, look, I feel like I've kind of come right back into the same situation, or a similar situation that's very, very similar. Why do I keep coming back to this? So that is another thing that we also want to look at in the Breaking the Chains ministry is how do we make sure that we are really learning everything that we need to learn within working through and healing from that struggle or that habit or that hurt? How do we not only work through it, but then close that door for good? How do we put barriers in place that keep us from falling back into those old habits or patterns or ways just because they're comfortable? These are all things that we want to start looking at in depth. So stay tuned, because over the next few months, Breaking the Chains ministry is going to be posting some things and kind of telling y'all what all's going on as we are building this ministry. We do want y'all to go ahead and like the Breaking the Chains ministry page. That way you get all the notifications from us. Be on the lookout tomorrow. Thomas and Chandra DeLoach are actually going to be doing some two intro videos for themselves as well. They're going to be admins and working with me on this ministry project. So we are super excited. I am going to go ahead and try to drop the link down in the comments that goes straight to the page. So recovery is not about just drugs and alcohol or whatever the struggle may be for you right this moment. Recovery ministry is going to be about getting back to Jesus and really building that relationship with him and making sure that our eyes are focused on him all the time in every aspect of our lives. So thanks for watching.